Well, it's a great pleasure to welcome back to the Aotearoa Rugby Pod, Ruahei Demant. Ruahei, you've been on a bit of an adventure.
I have.
At the end of last season, you had the World Cup and then you chose to go and play for Bristol.
Mm.
So what was that like to go over to the UK and play your footy?
It was so different. Firstly, I was really grateful to have the opportunity to go over and experience rugby in the UK, especially because we had no rugby here in Aotearoa, and that was the main reason why myself and the rest of the players who were fortunate enough to go up and play, that was the reason why we wanted to go away. We just wanted to have game time. The rest of the girls were here at home in pre-season from November through to April when they played, which I wasn't really keen on that. Anyone who's been in pre-season knows it's not the most fun time of the season. So the opportunity came to go to Bristol. One of their players got injured, unfortunately, and so I was able to go up and experience what UK footy's like. Yeah, and it's different.
Well, where were the big changes?
Well, I know from the rest of the girls that went up that were forwards, set piece obviously, like it's a massive part of their game. And I think it's a massive part of their game during that time of the year because it's so cold. Like, what else are you going to do? You can't really play free-flowing rugby for 80 minutes for the entire time from November through to their season still going. It'll finish after their Six Nations. So there was massive growth in that area of the field, and for me, understanding different defensive pictures and attacking pictures off of different types of set pieces, why we would do certain things in different areas. We don't really do that here at home. I think we kind of like our set pieces more to shape defenses, to open up different opportunities. You know, you do like a more to narrow up the pack to go through the seam at the back of the line out, or then you do that and it'll open up something else around the front, but it's a little bit different up there. So just learning how they think around that was new to me. And obviously their kicking game as well. I probably went to the club that kicked the least, which I didn't realise that at the time. I was very excited to go to grow my kicking game. So I felt like I was playing under loss again for a little bit. But yeah, regardless of that, I was still able to go grow my kicking game anyway, like having the opportunity to just play so many games, see so many pictures, understand how their backfield defends, how their tacklers tackle the different type of pictures around the ruck, just things that the pictures that we don't really get here at home. And another really cool thing about playing up there was there was 9 teams in the competition and each team attacked and defended completely different.
Oh.
So every time you played, you were playing against a completely different opposition that threw different opportunities and presented different pitches, which was awesome for me as a decision maker, understanding and just seeing different pitches and training against and playing against different defensive pitches, especially all the time, was a massive growth opportunity.
You naturally do play off the cuff quite a bit, though. It would have felt probably more natural to you than the players that you're playing with in terms of those changing pitches week to week?
Yeah, it was for me. And what was challenging though is that anyone who's played against, I don't know if it's all Northern Hemisphere teams, definitely like English, they're very structured in the way that they play, right? When you play against those teams, you train and prepare a certain way all week and you know exactly what they're going to throw at you. You get to the game and they throw exactly what you were expecting at you. And that's just the way that my team especially trained. They were very structured in their approach and struggled in some aspects to adapt to changing pictures unless we had trained it. And so that was a challenge for me, having played obviously here in Aotearoa with a group of players naturally who...
See space, take it.
Yeah, and play to the pictures in front of them. Yeah, and so it was different in that aspect, though.
You talk about preparation and, sounds, I don't want to use the wrong word here, but like robotic is a little bit way in terms of that structure. What does it look like during the week that's different? Like, I just mean like your days. Like times of training and like how full on is it?
I'd say the first thing is, so all the teams in the competition, not everyone all trains at the same time because from team to team, the makeup of players in terms of what their lives look like off the field is completely different. So for my team, most of the players in my team were dual career athletes or students studying in Bristol. And so because of that, there was we didn't train during the day. Our training day started around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we didn't leave the building till like 10 o'clock at night. And then we had, during that time, players rolling in after work. They'd come in, maybe do a gym, have dinner, then we'd go straight into a team meeting and then bounce out onto the field. Then they'd do their gym after.
Jeez, they give you some warm weather kit?
Damn, bro. My second training up there, my mud underneath my boots was frozen.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Thankfully in Bristol, though, we had an indoor facility, so if it was raining, we just trained indoors, which was a little
Probably
bit...
thank Pat Lamb for that.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. But yeah, no, so our training days looked like that. And then talking to some of the girls who played at Ealing Trailfinders up in London, the majority of their team were professional rugby players. Like they trained full time, so their training day started in the middle of the day. They were done by 6 o'clock. I know down in Exeter, Amy Rule, one of our props, she plays down there. Their training day started in the morning and was done by the Arvo as well. So this 3 teams, 3 different training days, I guess, just shows the different makeup of what the players look like from team to team and how each club has to adapt, not only to the availability of the players, the availability of the coaches as well, and also the availability of the facilities.
And how does that translate into performance? Are some of the teams who are doing what you're doing performing as well as some of the teams who are more, I suppose, professional in the fact that they appear to be there during the day?
I don't know if I have enough information to probably answer that question. I do know the teams that are doing well. I just don't know what their training days look like. But the best 2 teams in that competition are over at Gloucester and then over at Saracens as well. Saracens is basically made up of half the Canadian team. They've got a few Canadian coaches there as well. Gloucester's been really good for 3 years now. They've won the competition. I don't know what their training days look like, so I wouldn't have a clue. I'm assuming they probably don't finish the time that we finished.
No, definitely not Saracens. They've got deep pockets.
Nah.
I think they'll be in the old sauna by about 3.
Yeah, I reckon you're right.
So you're a night owl? Are you coming home and going straight to bed? Or are you staying up and watching a couple of bits of TV because you're finished training at 10?
Typically I am a night owl, but having trained during the day for so many years, going back to being really humbled and training in the evenings initially was really hard for me. It'd be like 8 o'clock at night, we're still on the grass and I was yawning in my first week. I just wasn't used to it. And it's dark from 3:30, so that was a completely new experience as well. It's dark and grey and cold, and in my mind I'm like, is it midnight?
What time is it?
Yeah, what time is it? Yeah, it's a bedtime, but you got used to it in the end, though. You got used to it in the end, and at the end of the day, I went up there to play rugby. That was all I was doing.
Yeah.
You had girls in the team coming from their full-time jobs. There were teachers. There were doctors. So there were a couple of other girls as well. I just can't remember their roles at the moment. Mothers, so they were coming from a
Jeez, that would be full noise at that time of night.
It was so inspiring. It took me back to playing FPC for Auckland Storm, coming into training at 6 o'clock at night, and everyone had lived a full day, maybe been to training in the morning, gone to work, and then come back and just go hard. It was really cool actually to be surrounded by people who had so much going on outside of rugby and didn't put too much pressure or expectations on themselves as rugby players, because that wasn't the only part of their identity that they tied value to. They just did it because they loved Bristol. They loved the opportunity to run around with their mates. It was really cool.
One of the most interesting things about you being up there is that you kind of arrived midway through the season and you left midway through the season. What was that like? I mean, as a person who's obviously the captain of a lot of your teams and within that leadership group and pushing towards that final goal, kind of coming in as a hired gun and finding the way to contribute in that time?
Leaving early didn't sit well with me. And that decision to leave when I did was out of my control. And I was just actually grateful that Bristol understood that, and they understood that was just the way it was, and that if I had my time again and I had my own ability to make my decision, I would have gone back and finished that season out with that group of players. So yeah, that was stinking. joining later in the season, yeah, it was challenging. It was challenging because I had like joining at a time when the season had already kicked off, the team's standards and values were already in place, and you're coming in, but the team's already hit the ground running, trying to figure out and navigate the challenges that, you know, from reviewing to previewing the next game. That was really hard, and I've never experienced that either. So going in and trying to be like a fly on the wall and a sponge and absorb everything, but also try and like share my experiences and my knowledge to a group of people that I don't know who think about rugby differently as well. Like that was really challenging. So the more time I got to spend with the players, more so off the field, it was a lot easier to connect with them on the field. But yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat, because it was just such an interesting experience, and the growth that I personally got from it as a person and a player, I couldn't get that here at home.
That's all out rugby. I know there's quite a convenient airport there. Did you get to do any sort of travel?
Yeah, a little bit, not too much because there was so much rugby on all the time, but during our off weeks, the times that I did get to travel, I had one of my really good mates who lived up in London, so she actually came down and saw me heaps. So we just cruised around like the wider Bristol area. We're really close to Wales, so I went over to Wales, loved that place, and then went over to Ireland as well. I actually never been, so had a few Guinnesses, travelled around, did a few brewery and whiskey tours, and it was cool. Keen to go back up to explore Scotland. I really liked the people. Like learning, I don't know, maybe just my ignorance, like just thought like the UK was the UK and everyone was the same, but you know, from England to Wales over to Ireland and the Scottish, they're all just so different, and rightly so. So yeah, I found that really cool. And another really cool thing actually about playing in that competition is that here at home we mainly only play with Kiwis, but up there they've got players from all across the UK. There was myself and a couple of Canadians as well. So just connecting and learning about different cultures, but also understanding like the different landscapes and their unions as well was very interesting, and collaborating with them. We never get that opportunity here at home, right? Because we're all from the same team and we're all under the same union. So that was actually really cool, being able to chat with them about what things look like for them off the field and how that impacts them on the field.
What you talk about the Canadian players, like they sort of punched well above their weight last World Cup. Did you sort of unearth, you know, I suppose the ethos of that union?
Yeah, probably not as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, probably not as much as they were going to share.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? But it was really interesting, more so listening to the way that they spoke about things. And anyone in women's rugby, I guess, who has the opportunity to play against Canada, whether it's on the 7 circuit or the 15s, like you said, they punch well above their weight. They're very athletic. They work really hard off the field to make sure that they're in the best physical shape that they're in all the time. I remember the first time I played Canada very early on in my Black Ferns career, like their bodies were just really hard compared to some of the other opposition that we would play. And the girls spoke about that during the week, that's just the makeup of the Canadian rugby players, that they just work really hard. They're really physical. They're very athletic. But then listening to them talk about the way that their 15s and 7s program are integrated, and they basically don't have a plan. They just play to space, which made sense to me because their coach Kevin is French Canadian, but also you're basically playing French, French style of rugby. Just some of the words that they used around how desperate they were to work for each other, to try and get the ball back, you know, like there was just a real desire there to put their body on the line for their teammate, which is what you saw when you watched them and when you played against them. So. And
going into the Pac 4, I mean, I just don't want to unearth too much. Did you utilise any of that information, you know, with other players?
100%. Yeah, I got up and told the whole team in the attack preview. Yeah, definitely. I told the coach straight away.
Yeah, because I just looked at that game in particular, and I suppose we can turn to the difference. Now you've got new coaching group and sort of a new way forward under Whitney Hansen, but man, it just looked like you were all so connected. And for me, it came in the line speed defensively, but also then the counter-rucks and the decision-making in and around there. Is there something you can sort of probably share with us as what has been the key difference?
Yeah, I think one of the most noticeable changes for me, having not been a part of the team since September and then coming back in April, was how much fitter the team was. Not so much like across the board, right? Not like your backline probably going to be like usually consistently fit the whole time. It was more the fitness of the pack, and in particular your tight five, the players who are working hard in the middle of the field to make a lot of those tackles and are making a lot of those decisions around the ruck defensively. Their fitness they were so much fitter, and you could see it in the way that they were able to make really good decisions under fatigue and under pressure consistently, and then the way they were able to listen when we had the ball in hand. And so that, as you know, rugby's a pretty simple sport. It just frees up your mind, and so we were able to transfer pressure onto the opposition even when we didn't have the ball. And against a good team like Canada, like we spoke about it after that American game, we probably created 20 opportunities to score in that game and nailed not even half of them. We knew we weren't going to get those opportunities against Canada, so how were we going to be after one game, which was tough? How were we going to be a bit more accurate in that area? How were we going to play the game in the right parts of the field and not transfer that pressure back onto ourselves? So that was, for me, one of the biggest differences. The fitness of the pack, especially the Tier 5, and then in combination with how much simpler the game that the coaches gave us was. And just, even though it was simple, it was the attention to detail that was probably like the focus. There was a lot more focus on that from all of our coaches on both sides of the ball. And then obviously Whitney as well, having her in as a coach, like she's a very competent coach, understands the rugby and has a real clear vision about what our rugby looks like at its best and how we're going to get to that destination, knowing that we're still working towards that. The way that she communicates that is really easily digestible for not just players who've been around for a while, but everyone, regardless of the different learning styles, which is like she's a teacher, right? So that's her teacher hat coming through. She's very authentic. She's herself in the environment. So you see her as a coach, and then you see her just as Whitney. She's walking around in the team room, just hanging out with the girls. And so you just, I don't know, just, it makes a difference to the way that you feel that you can be yourself in an environment where usually there's a lot of pressure.
Probably.
Yeah. Heaps, there was a lot, but yeah, just like fitter pack, simple coaching, but a lot of attention to detail in the coaching. Yeah.
But how hard is that? Like, if you look at coaching, you want to make a statement, like, and you speak about her teaching background. Do you feel she was smart enough, or the whole coaching group was smart enough to know less is more with this new environment, short running? And do you think there'll be layers?
Yes.
There'll be layers at it?
Yeah. She spoke about that to us multiple times. She spoke about how, Whit's announced as a coach. She's coming into her first camp of the year. Her and the rest of the management have like a plan of what they want to do. They get to the first camp, and the makeup of the team is, oh, hang on a minute, there's a whole bunch of players here that have never been here before, and so they've had to quickly adapt and pivot. And I think Whit's actually been really good at that, thinking on her feet and adjusting their plan to what the team needs right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I, like for myself, coming back into the team after the team had kind of already, the wheels already started turning, you could not only see it, you could feel it as well. You could feel it in the way that those players who were just starting their Black Ferns careers out felt around the environment. They understood the expectation of what that meant at training, but then they understood that off the field, when the work was done, when they could close their book, they could be themselves, which... everyone plays their best day.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Did you feel, because she had that involvement in the World Cup win here, did you feel like that kind of helped her too? She obviously had a very good understanding of how that environment works, but without the pressure of necessarily being the person, and then could reflect on that and come in and apply now that she is.
Yeah, I think that definitely helped her. I also think, like, Whitney's been around women's rugby, also in Canterbury, but she just has a really good understanding of what the landscape looks like, what the challenges look like, what works best for the girls, what that looks like in a training week to get them to their best on and off the field. She knows the players and she knows the people. When she came in, like obviously, like for myself, she's announced as our new coach, right, as our head coach. Well, we already knew her. We knew her as Whitney Hansen, the coach. We also knew her as just Whit.
Yeah.
And she has that. She has like her feet on the ground. She understands everything, and because of that, she's very well respected. Like she'd say one thing, people do it, you know. But she didn't have that expectation. She was really humble as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, that being there as a fly on the wall to coach, but not fully coach, I think definitely helped her being able to observe how some of the best coaches in the world operate in a training week, and World Cup training weeks and test weeks. You know, it's a completely different pressure as well. So, yeah.
Sounds like it's been a really cool 6 months.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
It's been an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of things to learn. Now, when you come back into the Blues environment, because Aupiki starts in a month's
Go the
time
Blues.
Yo, starts tomorrow for us.
for your training.
Yeah.
So what does that look like over the next month? You're full-time from then?
Yeah, it's really interesting, right? So this year, it's a new format. We've got the ability to be assembled not just from Thursday to Sunday as it has been in the past. The team's now assembled for the whole week. So we've got more time, sort of. I'm not really too sure, to be honest, what it's going to look like day to day until we're in it. And see what that feels like, especially once we start getting into training weeks where we've got games at the end of those weeks. But it's exciting to see that, like, this is something that players have been asking for more prep time, and coaches have been asking for. So there's a step towards that.
When you can have that, like that time, I suppose NPC does it. It's like it's all sort of voluntary until, okay, now it's this date and you've got 4 weeks preseason, then you go into NPC full time. It's almost like as fully professional players, when you merge, it's sometimes awkward when it's not full time to put expectations or team sort of values or behaviours. But now, you know, almost not gloves off. That probably shows the sign of my attitude. But it's more like in terms of growing depth. You know, like at the end of the day, Aupiki is designed to make sure the Black Ferns dominate on the world stage. This feels like a massive step towards creating that depth that it is going to create opportunities for that next person up if there's injuries.
Really interesting that you mentioned that. Actually, we were reflecting the other day in like a leadership wānanga kind of thing, and we were talking about the depth that we have in behind positions, and we spoke about not a crisis, but that's a challenge that probably all of the teams in Aupiki are facing at the moment. I think most of the teams will probably have a really solid 15, 18, but where's the depth in behind that? And so, like you're saying, this is an opportunity to, one, create more depth, genuine depth in positions.
Growing habits, like it's not necessarily going to make you an amateur to a Black Fern full time. Like there may be some outlier, but I feel like the habits they're going to learn between this time will become their habits when they're away. So the next time that you get this time, you know, they're stepping in and understanding what professionalism looks like.
You can only hope so, right? And I think, like I can only speak for our team here at the Blues, we're really fortunate that we've got a massive group of players that already know what being a professional 7 days a week, 365 days a year looks like. And so the standard that's going to be demonstrated and modelled across all of the positions is already there for all of our players who are coming through and behind. So the expectation's already set, the model is already there. You follow them or you're probably not going to get game time. So I do agree that it is definitely going to bridge that gap. Which hopefully for those players who will go on to higher honours, they'll be ready to hit that ground running and they'll understand the demands of a test week. But for those players who don't get that opportunity yet, they can take those all of those lessons back into our provinces 100%. And demonstrate to them what it looks like to be a professional without being a professional. They can show them what leadership looks like and help elevate and uplift the players coming through from our clubs into our provinces, which is always massive for us in the Blues region especially.
Looking at your squad, I mean, there's a very solid forward pack to start with. Like, you've got some real depth in the forward pack. The loose forwards is a place which kind of gets me the most excited when I look at it, because Taufa Basin was incredible last year.
Yeah.
You obviously got Liana, Amarante Sititi. Coming out of the FPC, she looks like something special, like her dad and her brother. It's something special,
She is a hot property.
It's crazy how young she is as well. We spent a bit of time with her last week, and for a really young player, so she's in at university, her first year out of school this year, just the head on her, she's such an intelligent girl, and she's really screwed on. So for her to be playing alongside, she's probably going to be playing alongside Liana and Taufa, and in a pack that's very experienced. She's a pretty smart girl. Imagine her being able to just focus. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Not just on attack, but defence. She's a pretty physical girl. I'm pretty glad that she's on my team.
Did you get given your rings?
Yeah. I was thinking about bringing them in, but I didn't know if it was like...
You should have.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. Because this year, did it have the Trans Tasman on one side?
Yeah,
and Aupiki on the other?
Yeah, so it has like the Blues, our Blues logo from last season's the Blues logo on it, and then it's got Aupiki 25, obviously for our Aupiki Championship, and then it's got the Trans Tasman on the other side. It looks like real NFL style.
Bit of bling in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. So we've got our headshots, I think, on Tuesday. Everyone was like, yeah, let's bring our rings.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
No,
good.
it's so cool. And Amy Courtney, she's worked for the Blues for a number of years now. She's been our campaign manager, our team manager since the NIB Blues started back in 2021 with our inaugural game out here at Eden Park. She's just the most thoughtful person. She has so much detail in her planning when it comes to every little part of our season on and off the field. And all the girls have said this. We said it on Wednesday night. I'll say it again tonight, like today. The reason why people continue to come back to the Blues is because of the way that we feel at the Blues, the way that we feel valued as people. And she is the reason why, because she just thinks about all the different ways that we're going to feel valued, all the different things that's going to make us feel like we belong at the Blues, we're valued as people, we're seen as individuals, and that's all just going to make playing rugby so much easier. So, yeah, she's a real thoughtful person. Rings was her idea, and I think she had a massive say in both the designs.
What's the etiquette there? Are you allowed to wear a ring any old time, or do you only wear it on a special occasion? Like, how do you...
I don't think there is, I think just
Be your individual self.
Yeah, I've like people. I want to wear it all the time. One of the girls will say, "I'm going to wear it in the gym too." I don't know if that's like very safe, man.
Don't scratch it up.
Yeah, so I think it'll be cool to show the girls who are coming into the Blues for the first time, like what the rewards of our hard work can look like, not just obviously with the friendships that you make, 'cause that stuff just lasts forever, but like a little bit of bling's a little bit different to a medal, right? I bet you half the girls don't even know where their medal is. Very. So, it's cool though. It's real cool. Never got a ring for anything else, so.
It's a great idea.
Keen to get another one.
We're seeing some cool stuff from the Blues at the moment. There's laser light shows and things that are happening at Eden Park. Carl Budge's obviously come in. He's a different kind of guy to everybody else. I did see at Bristol you guys did some cool stuff. Like the big day out. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that kind of is slightly different to your average match day experience?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so at Bristol we had big day out. That was my last game actually in the middle of March. We played against Harlequins. Bristol's like 45 minutes from Cardiff, so that game was played over at the Principality, which is, I went to a couple of Six Nations games there, and like you probably know, I love playing here. This is my favourite stadium to play at. But man, I love playing over there. The roof, they have a roof, so the roof closes. Like I said, it's dark at like 3 o'clock. So it's like there's a light show, there's a DJ. It feels like
Sevens.
It feels like Sevens, bro. It feels like a massive party, And so you're there to watch the rugby, which is exciting. Bristol, the boys, they play a very exciting style of rugby, and we strive to play exciting style of rugby all the time as well, the girls, and I think we did at times. But then just on top of that, like your match day experience is so cool. Principalities right in the middle of town. So you've got all the pubs and the bars right there. So you can spend your time pre-gaming and then whip over to the stadium, watch the footy and then bounce back out into town. That was really cool. And being able to play Quins there as well was even better because we played them at their big game, just before Christmas in December. So they did the same thing at Twickenham, where they played Bristol. And so we were able to, I don't know if that was on purpose, but it was really cool. Just a different game day experience, a different fan experience, a different supporter experience. That was like a party. We were leaving the stadium and there was a full-on DJ concert happening outside. Which I was like, what the, you'd never see this out here. You know, it was so cool. Like, I didn't want to leave. Like, I didn't realise also, and like Liana, she was playing for the Quins while we were up there. She said that their tradition for their big game is they'll all meet at the stoop and then they walk from the stoop to Twickenham. And like the streets are just lined with supporters with all their like Quins, like supporters gears and flags and scarves, and they're just cheering the girls. And then when the boys come, the boys as well. And then they walk into the stadium. Like, she said it was so cool, and she took videos of their walk, and it was just crazy.
That's awesome.
So having different things like that, like, it's just adds a different level of excitement, you know, to each game.
Awesome community connection piece that, eh?
Yeah.
Like, they get to touch and feel you before. You're not kind of coming out of a tunnel, you know, and they might touch you maybe. But it's real.
Like, you're there, like it's visible, but you're like there with them, with everyone. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the Blues started doing. Vern Cotter, I don't know if Aupiki girls do it, but Vern Cotter pulls the bus up and they have to walk through the ground. So that they walk through the fans basically. And it's become a thing where people just pretty much wait there. It must be cool as a player too. Like, you're going into battle and, you know, people feel you've got your back sort of thing.
And people are there like to support you. I guess I didn't really have any expectation, like going up to the UK. I just wanted to grow. That was my only thing that I wanted to do. And however that was going to come is however that was going to come. And I guess I didn't really think about all the off-field stuff. I was only thinking about the rugby. So to see the way that they celebrate the game, that they make the rugby, the women, more visible to young aspiring players, to supporters, it's so cool. It makes the rugby, the experience, just... there's so much more hype around it. And then, you know, we finished up our experience in the PWR. We went over to Pac 4, and then you look at some of the crowds that they were getting in the Six Nations. Like, they played, I think, their first game at Twickenham, they got like 77,000 fans there to watch and support women's rugby, Red Roses. I think they're playing Ireland, I think. Wait, no, don't quote me on that. No, but it was just so cool, you know?
For it to be week in, week out, because it was so special in 2022. Like, to have that feeling, you know, for that period of time, but to be able to create a sustainable feeling like that is a massive challenge for men's rugby as well.
Absolutely.
Like, it's rugby's big experience.
And it's our challenge right down here. How do we?
I think it's exactly what you just said, though. So the concepts like the big day out, you know, you look at South African history is duped in it with, you know, tailgate parties, American sport tailgate parties. Some people don't even go into the ground. They just, you know, they park
that's right.
up.
They just stay outside. No, I think you're right, though. Like, look at what Super Rugby did with their Super Round. Like, NRL do it with Magic Round. You know, they have it. I know NRLW have it with their Magic Round too. And there's not just supporters, but fans that go over from here because they know they're going to be guaranteed heaps of games, a really cool weekend. Why can't we do that more here in Aotearoa? I know that we have our Super Round out in Pukekohe during our Aupiki season. Like, hopefully that we can get more games like that so it can drive support. Those games will be on primetime TV, Sky Sport 1, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock kickoff. You know, we'll get fans who don't typically support women's rugby tuning into the footy because we're the prime time on you know, like things like that. How can we continue to do that? How can we continue to encourage people to come and support? Well, not just women's rugby, just rugby. Rugby.
It sounds like you've learned a lot over your time.
A little bit.
Now, before we go, I suppose we've touched on the forwards. What about the backs at the Blues? You know, we all saw Braxton last year, you know, come from nowhere
School.
to be, to be everything, and now she's off around the world as well. Can you give us a bit of an insight into her? Because we see what she does on the field, but off the field, generally the players who excel like that excel because they're switched on. You know, what do you see from her off the field?
Yeah, she loves rugby league, all that sort of stuff, but she understands her role as a outside back wherever she's playing, and she has the confidence to communicate that to players. Just tell me what to do, which I don't really care. But not everyone that comes in that young and green to that level, has that confidence. So she has that confidence in her own ability, and she has the confidence to communicate that to her teammates. And then the stuff that she does is freakish, right? Like, the girl is probably one of the lightest girls in our team. And one of the most bravest girls. She couldn't care how big you are, who you are. She will fly in and smash you as a fullback, which is what you want from your fullback, right? And I think probably she's so good on attack that people forget actually how brave she is on defence, which is massive for us. And obviously it's players in the front line, you try your hardest not to let players break you, right? But when they do, like, we never worry. Like, how good is that to have that reassurance, have that trust from an 18-year-old that's playing fullback? And so she's only going to grow in that ability at sevens. She's only going to enhance her skill set, her natural skill set that she already has. She's only going to become more professional in her habits and her knowledge as well. And she's going to bring that back to play for a jersey that she loves, for a region that means something to her and her family. So we'll unlock a different side of Brax again as a, 19-year-old?
Where are her growth areas?
Braxton's?
Yeah. Like, if you look at her, like, she's come onto the scene, what is she going to face? Like, you would have done it when you were new, and you lit it up, and then just that second year, people have got a lot of tape on you.
Yeah.
People know you're a weapon. How does she navigate that this season?
That's a good question. It should be interesting to see where she plays. I think Willie and Carlos actually got a lot of headaches to try and figure out around how they're going to
fit everyone in.
How they're going to fit everyone onto the field. Because she offers so much at fullback and at wing as well. So it kind of depends on who you really want to play in those positions. I think a massive growth area for Brax is, and the challenge will be, how does she continue to play with the same energy, the same standards, since the last time she played 15s, which was in September, having played so much sevens. Usually when the sevens girls come back into 15s, there's less space, there's less time, and there's more people. You usually see things like they'll pass the ball far away from defenders because they can do that in sevens, which can't really do in 15. So just like some of their more tight, like real, like nitty gritty skill set stuff, that you have to do in 15s, you don't really have to do in sevens. How fast she can adapt to that, how fast they can adapt their thinking and their speed of thought to the pictures that they're going to see, because haven't seen them for a while. That's not to say that she won't. It's just to say that how fast can they do that, because they'll be going from basically their 7 seasons straight into 15, so there won't be a lot of time for them. So that'll be the challenge there, I think. But I don't think it's a challenge that will be very difficult for her or the rest of our players coming back from the sevens environment into our Blues team. I suppose on the opposite side, you see the Christmas of the catch and pass and those things that they do develop in that time, right? The one-on-one tackles. They get a bit of time and space out on the edges. Like most of those girls that are coming back from the sevens, they're all edge players. Like like my excitement is, how many turnovers are they going to get over on the edge? That's their bread and butter. They do it all the time. Their ability to tackle jackals probably going to be even faster now. You think of players like Caitlin, who's already so fast and strong. She's been doing that for probably 6 months now. How much faster, how much stronger is she now going to be in that area?
Jeez, they better start making those rings.
It'll be, it's exciting though. It's going to be interesting to see who they name and where they name everyone, because it's going to be like, if everyone's fit, well, available for selection, great headache.
Yeah.
a great headache to have, but yeah, a very
And they've got
challenging one.
time with the preseason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's quite a crucial thing. Like, you know, we all go through form
Yeah.
ups and downs. You know, actually having that edge or that nervousness around selection, even for the best players,
That's right.
is not a bad thing
That's right.
in
That's
terms
right.
of the preparation.
Mm.
Well, there is a lot of depth there. I was just thinking then, like, you know, Portia's gone, but Mararangi Paul, who can play centre wing. Like,
Where's
you've got.
Mary going to play?
You know,
Yeah,
what are you
that's why I say you've
yeah.
got Merirangi who can play fullback.
Yeah.
You've got Braxton who's shown us that how deadly she is on the wing.
Yeah.
So you've effectively got 2 fullbacks on,
Yeah.
you know. You've got Holly Ray Mete who is coming into the Blues this year after coming off the back of playing Auckland Storm in the FPC, moving up here to Auckland, having played down in Matatu, originally coming from Manawatu along with Dalfa, a really, really strong midfielder.
Yeah.
Like how much balance is she going to bring and how much is she going to bring out of Sylvia's game?
Yeah.
You know, like a player that's already extremely experienced and who's only 22. Like she hasn't even reached her glass ceiling yet, you know? So, yeah, really interesting, right? To think about who they're going to name. And that's not even to mention players like you've got Jamie Colossi coming back from the Sevens, who always usually has an outstanding Blues season.
Yeah.
And she's been a revelation in the Sevens, hasn't she? She has been so good.
And she creates as well, you know, like she's a player who dots down. But you look at some of the assists that she has, the touches where she can just change her angle to set someone else up. So the continuity and the cohesion that she already had with players like Braxton, who she's probably going to have even more now, alongside players like Caitlin. I know that players like Merirangi will probably play well with them because they're all basically touchies at the end of the day, you know, so they can play to changing pictures, and 4 players there, as well as you've got a young player like Gary Mafui coming in who debuted with the Blues last season, has gone away to Sevens, has grown so much, has so much game time under her belt now. What kind of player are we going to get from her as she comes back into the Blues? She's older, more experienced, and understands things a bit more. And like you say, has been in a professional environment, so understands the demands and what that looks like. That is just the outside bit.
Yeah. It's a hell of a squad. Oh, you're holding the club up.
Jipper, I can feel the excitement coming off you.
I'm frothy.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm frothy. I'm jealous of these rings. Couldn't quite earn one myself.
Oh, come coach the girls, come do a few hooker sessions with the girls, maybe you might get a ring.
No, certainly wouldn't want me as a coach.
Amazing. Hey, well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Great insights there. Thank you so much and good luck for the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.